Good morning. Welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Monday, December 8th, 2008. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London, 12:30 p.m. in Bermuda, 9:30 a.m. in Mexico City. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL Instant Mail address is CATEXTV. On this day in history, in 1941, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt appeared in the House of Representatives in front of a joint session of Congress, declaring that yesterday, December 7, 1941, was a day which will live in infamy, and asked for and received a declaration of war against the Empire of Japan. He was, of course, referring to the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. Also on this day in 1980, in front of the Dakota apartment building on the east side of Manhattan, John Lennon was killed by Mark David Chapman, who thankfully still remains in jail and will for the rest of his life. We have two breaking stories. The first comes from Serbia. Officials there say that a chemical factory in the western part of the country, out near the town of Loznica, has caught on fire as a result of an explosion, killing one worker, unleashing a cloud of sulfur dioxide. Everybody in Loznica has been ordered to stay inside. The factory is called the Viskoza factory, V-I-S-K-O-Z-A. We can find it on the internet, but we cannot find the name of its owner. That's all we have at this time. Also, in some reinsurance breaking news, the Board of Heritage Managing Agency has announced that its CEO, Richard Pexton, has resigned, effective immediately. Nick Deniston, Heritage's CFO, will assume the position of CEO on an interim basis. The chairman, David Spiller, said that he's grateful for the contribution Pexton made at Heritage's growth, and we wish him well in his future endeavors. We don't know what happened there, but we'll be looking, and if we find anything out, we'll tell you. Both come from, the second story comes from the Insurance Insider. Now to our main news. The American broker Aon must reimburse United National Group $24 million, the amount of reinsurance which United National lost and the expenses it expended as a result of an arbitration hearing with one of its own reinsurers. A jury ruled this late Thursday. In the mid-1990s, United National was the policy-issuing company for a London-based Aon Limited, Alexander Howden Contractors, and Allied Trade Insurance Program, which provided insurance to U.S. residential and commercial construction contractors. United National acted as a fronting company on the program, reinsuring nearly all of its risks with the Italian reinsurer Adriatica di Securta. Aon acted as intermediary on all the reinsurance placements in addition to being the program's manager. In 1999, Adriatica Securta sought to rescind its participation in the program as a result of what it alleged were numerous misrepresentations by Aon in the placement process. It began arbitration against United National, alleging that Aon misrepresented to Adriatica that the program was very successful with low loss ratios, among other things. Adriatica said that it had been correctly informed, that had it been correctly informed of the true loss experience, it would never have agreed to participate. As a result of the 2002 arbitration hearing, United National was unable to recover $17 million in reinsurance from Adriatica. United National then sued Aon to recover those losses. Following a 9-week trial, a federal jury in Philadelphia late Thursday awarded United National the $17 million plus about $7 million in legal fees and expenses. The attorney for United National says we're gratified by the jury's verdict. United National will now be made whole for the losses that it suffered because of Aon's misrepresentations. An Aon spokesman said that the broker is disappointed by the decision and plans to appeal. Metropolitan Life, one of the last remaining blue chips, said this morning that it may post a small fourth quarter operating loss due to the impact of the slumping stock market on its variable annuity business. The giant life insurer projected 2009 earnings below the expectations of analysts. Shares in Metropolitan and its peers, of course, have been buffeted in recent months by concerns over steep investment portfolio losses. MetLife announced in October it would sell 75 million shares to boost its capital levels. This morning it said that its strong excess capital and diversified investments do make it well positioned for the future, but noted that it had not been immune from the stock market turmoil this quarter. So, for the fourth quarter, on an operating basis, which excludes investment gains and losses, Met said that its bottom line results will range between a loss of 5 cents a share and a 20-cent profit. That is the result of, quote, a significant decline in variable investment income and the weak stock market. Analysts surveyed by Thomson Reuters had projected earnings of 74 cents. Meanwhile, Metropolitan projected 2008 operating earnings of $3.50 a share. Analysts most recently expected $4.42. MetLife's prior forecast for the year was $5.70. They took that back a little bit in October. For next year, Met expects operating earnings of $3.60 to $4 a share, below the analyst forecast of $4.48. Met CEO C. Robert Henriksen said in 2009 a number of challenges posed by both the equity and credit markets will continue to make for a difficult environment. Of course, the stock for Met has gone down 83% for the year, and there's been a little bit of a resurgence. Friday, Hartford Financial Services Group surged dramatically and led the increase in the stock market. The stock market right now is up about 300 points. The National Association of Insurance Commissioners has finally adopted a set of proposals which would lead to changes in the hotly debated collateral requirement for foreign reinsurers. The proposal also creates two new classes of reinsurers in the United States. The NAIC Reinsurance Regulatory Modernization Framework Proposal, it's a mouthful, is intended to modernize U.S. state-based regulation of reinsurance. According to New Jersey Insurance Commissioner Stephen Goldman, who chaired the NAIC task force, this proposal sets forth a conceptual framework only. Now we must focus on developing the specifics and taking appropriate legislative steps. Lloyd's welcomed the move, with Sean McGovern, Director and General Counsel, saying, "We're pleased that the NAIC has adopted a new policy framework for the regulation of reinsurers. This has been a long time in coming and is a major step forward." The proposal creates two new classes of reinsurers in the U.S., U.S. domiciled national reinsurers and non-U.S. based port of entry reinsurers. It also introduces modified collateral requirements for eligible reinsurers. The proposal would also establish a new framework for state-based reinsurance regulation based on the concept of supervisory recognition, single-state licensure for U.S. reinsurers, and single-state certification for non-U.S. reinsurers from approved jurisdictions. The proposal creates the NAIC Reinsurance Supervision Review Department, the RSRD, which will evaluate the reinsurance supervisory regimes of other countries and establish standards for a state to be certified to regulate reinsurance on a cross-border basis. In order to be certified as a port of entry reinsurer under the proposal, a reinsurer must be licensed by a non-U.S. jurisdiction recommended as being eligible for recognition by the RSRD. The current NAIC Credit for Reinsurance Model Act remains in place for reinsurers that do not choose to become either national or port of entry reinsurers. Ike is still causing problems. The Property Claims Service, PCS, raised its estimate Friday for onshore insured losses from Hurricane Ike by just over 30%, all the way up to $10.655 billion. Insurers also face estimated loss adjustment expenses of over $426 million, according to PCS. This would take the total onshore cost of Ike to over $11 billion. The update from PCS, which is generally regarded as the authoritative figure for U.S. cat losses, is below the lower end of the revised loss estimate range from RMS. RMS came in at about 13 to 21 billion, which includes 1 to 3 billion of offshore losses. The PCS estimate is also lower than many in-house estimates of reinsurance companies. But the PCS figure is up about 32% from its September 30th estimate of $8 billion, and it's mainly concentrated in Texas. Texas has seen over 720,000 claims already, producing a total of $8.3 billion as a result of Ike. Lloyd's managing agent R.J. Kiln is to open a new syndicate next year for intra-group reinsurance. As part of the Tokyo Marine Group Syndicate 1880 will not write third